Have you ever wondered if the spirits mediums communicate with are really just departed souls from Earth? Or could it be that some of these entities, these intelligences, come from beyond our planet, beyond our solar system, perhaps even beyond our dimension? In the quiet of a September night in 1961, Betty and Barney Hill were driving through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, returning from a belated honeymoon. As they navigated the winding roads, a bright light appeared in the sky, seemingly following their car. Curiosity turned to fear when the object descended rapidly, hovering just above them. Barney stepped out with binoculars and saw humanoid figures in gray uniforms staring back at him from the craft's windows. Suddenly, a series of buzzing sounds enveloped them, and they lost consciousness. They awoke 2 hours later, 35 miles down the road, with no memory of what had transpired. Physical evidence, Betty's torn dress, Barney's scuffed shoes, and malfunctioning watches, suggested something extraordinary had occurred. Under hypnosis, they recalled being taken aboard the craft, subjected to medical examinations, and shown a star map indicating the being's origin from the Zeta Reticuli system. Their account became the first widely publicized alien abduction story, shaping the narrative for countless others to follow. But what if encounters like the Hills are not isolated incidents? What if there's a deeper spiritual dimension to these experiences? What if mediumship isn't only about reaching out to the dead, but also about receiving messages from living consciousnesses that exist on other worlds? This idea may sound wild at first, but in fact, it's deeply rooted in one of the world's most developed spiritual philosophies, Spiritism. Allan Kardec, the founder of Spiritism in the 19th century, wrote extensively about what he called the plurality of inhabited worlds. In the Spirit's book, he asked the question directly, are all the planets in space inhabited? And the response from the spiritual guides was clear, yes. And not only are they inhabited, but many civilizations out there are more advanced morally and intellectually than ours on Earth. According to Spiritism, we're not the top of the cosmic food chain, we're a developing world. We're in spiritual kindergarten. This alone should already shift our thinking, but it goes deeper. In the Spiritist Review, a series of publications personally curated by Kardec between 1858 and 1869, there are documented mediumistic communications describing life on other planets, including Jupiter. Yes, Jupiter. These aren't just metaphorical stories. These are detailed transmissions received through trance and mediumship, describing spiritual life on that planet where matter is subtler and spirits live in peace and harmony, free from the base passions of our world. Fast forward to the 20th century, Brazil. Chico Xavier, the most famous medium in Latin America, perhaps in the world, takes this cosmic vision even further. Through thousands of psychographed texts, he relays communications from entities that openly identify as being from other star systems. These spirits describe how they observe and support Earth's evolution, not as superior overlords, but as elder brothers in the universe, trying to gently steer us away from destruction and toward awakening. In interviews, Chico spoke of a spiritual agreement that was supposedly made with higher civilizations when humanity reached the moon. He claimed that if we managed to survive without launching ourselves into nuclear war by the year 2019, we would enter a new era, a gradual assisted transition held by civilizations from beyond. And here we are, post-2019. And things are different. The world is shifting, consciousness is expanding, and more people than ever are talking about contact, not with beings of flesh and blood, but with intelligences of light, thought, and spirit. Then there's Ramatiz, the spirit entity channeled through Brazilian medium Hercílio Mais. Ramatiz didn't just imply that other worlds exist, he described them in vivid detail. His books talk about Mars, Venus, Saturn. He describes cities that float, societies with no money, transportation through thought, beings that communicate with color, not words. And crucially, he said that many of these beings volunteer to incarnate on Earth during times of transition. Think about that. A being from another world chooses to live among us. Here in our confusion, our struggle to help raise the frequency of the planet from the inside. These aren't stories of invasion or colonization. These are stories of spiritual cooperation across planetary systems. So now we have to ask, what is mediumship? Really? Spiritism defines mediumship as the ability to communicate between the material and the immaterial. But who said the immaterial world is only earth-based? If the soul is eternal, and if we reincarnate not just on Earth but on multiple planets, then what we're calling spirits might actually be beings who've lived lives light years away. Maybe their most recent incarnation wasn't on Earth. Maybe they haven't set foot here in thousands of years, but through the spiritual frequency of a tuned in medium, they speak. And they're not the only ones speaking. In the modern spiritual community, there are thousands of reports of channelers, people who claim to receive messages from beings linked to star systems like Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, Orion. These beings don't talk about technology, they talk about ethics, frequency, emotional healing, inner evolution. They talk about karma, reincarnation, vibrational alignment. Sound familiar? That's because these ideas, though wrapped in different clothing, are deeply aligned with the core teachings of Spiritism. Free will, rebirth, moral progress, collective responsibility. In other words, the extraterrestrial beings many are channeling are not so different from the spiritists have always talked about. The difference is just perspective. So maybe we've been looking for aliens in the wrong place. We've expected ships, bodies, proof, but maybe the real contact isn't physical at all. Maybe it's vibrational, telepathic, spiritual. Maybe it's already happening through our dreams, our intuitions, and our so-called mediumistic communications. Maybe Earth is part of something bigger, a vast network of spiritual planets, all evolving, all communicating, all watching each other like siblings in a cosmic family. This brings us to one of the most fascinating modern expressions of this idea, the Valley of the Dawn, a spiritual community in Brazil. There, mediums speak openly of their origins in Capella, a star system believed to have sent advanced souls to Earth thousands of years ago to assist in its development. They describe Earth as a temporary mission, not a prison but a learning ground, a laboratory of spirit, just like Spiritism teaches. All of this points to one truth, that mediumship may be far more than a conversation with ghosts. It may be cosmic contact in disguise. It may be the original form of interstellar communication, not through radios, not through telescopes, but through the human soul. So if you've ever felt like you don't belong here, if you've had dreams that felt like memories from another world, if you've sensed that your guides aren't quite human, maybe you're part of this. Maybe you're one of the many who volunteered. Maybe your spirit remembers things your body can't explain. And if you're still not sure what to believe, that's okay. Questioning is the first step. Now I want to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me, do you believe that some spirits might come from other worlds? Have you ever felt like you've received guidance from somewhere beyond this planet? Or are you just curious, still exploring, still unsure? Let's open that conversation right now. And if this message sparked something in you, a memory, a chill, a strange sense of knowing, then don't keep it to yourself, like this video. Subscribe to Truth Beyond Earth. Share it with someone you know who's also searching for answers, because sometimes the smallest spark is all it takes to start an awakening. And remember, what you call a spirit guide might just be a consciousness from the stars trying to remind you who you really are. This is Truth Beyond Earth. And this is just the beginning.